Welcome to this short briefing on when to share information. Our aim is to build confidence in sharing information lawfully, clearly and proportionately so that we can work together more effectively to reduce risk and protect people from harm. One of the core duties of the Salford Safeguarding Adults Board is to carry out safeguarding adult reviews when an adult has died or suffered significant harm as a result of abuse or neglect, and there are concerns that partner agencies could have worked more effectively. A recent example is SARS Stephen, which highlighted the critical importance of information sharing. You can use the QR code on screen to find out more about SARS Stephen. The Safeguarding Adult Review for Stephen identified ongoing concerns from professionals about breaching data protection laws when recording personal information. This hesitation meant some important details, including information about family members or associates, were often not recorded or shared. As a result, vital opportunities for coordinated support or for involving Stephen's family were lost. The review emphasised that data protection laws are not a barrier to safeguarding. In fact, fear of breaching confidentiality can actively hinder effective safeguarding. Information sharing has been a recurring theme across Salford Safeguarding Adult Reviews. Remember, each review is about a real person, an individual with a life and a story. Examples of such reviews include Canu, where there were missed opportunities for multi-agency risk meetings and escalations, Matthew, who took his own life. There was inconsistent communication across services, which meant missed safeguarding opportunities. Peter, he was murdered by someone staying with him. Agencies lacked awareness of each other's roles, leading to missed chances to share information. With Jane, professionals were unclear when and how to share information with family members. With Christopher, agencies worked in isolation. Concerns weren't escalated into safeguarding processes. These issues are not unique to Salford. National Safeguarding Adult Reviews highlight identical challenges. Data protection legislation exists to enable, not prevent, safe information sharing, especially where safeguarding is involved. Key legal gateways include the Crime and Disorder Act 1998, which allows information sharing to prevent crime or antisocial behaviour. The CARE Act 2014 creates a legal duty to share information to safeguard adults. The Human Rights Act 1998, Article 8 can be lawfully overridden for safeguarding. The Data Protection Act 2018 and UK GDPR, these provide lawful bases for sharing without consent when necessary. The common law duty of confidentiality allows sharing without consent where justified. The Mental Capacity Act 2005 supports sharing information in a person's best interests. The revised Caldecott principles emphasise the duty to share can be as important as the duty to protect confidentiality. The key message is this: data protection legislation enables lawful information sharing. Although the 7 golden rules for information sharing were originally developed with children and young people in mind, they offer clear, practical guidance that is equally valuable for professionals working with adults, especially when navigating complex safeguarding situations. The 7 golden rules for information sharing are: number 1, remember GDPR is not a barrier to sharing information, but provides a framework to ensure personal information is shared appropriately. Number 2, be open and honest with the person from the outset about why, what, how and with whom the information will or could be shared, and seek agreement where possible. Number 3, seek advice if you are in doubt without disclosing the identity of the person. Number 4, share with consent where appropriate and where possible, respect the wishes of those who do not consent. You may still share information without consent if, in your judgment, the lack of consent can be overridden. It's important to highlight that consent works differently for children and adults. Children often cannot give consent themselves, instead it's usually provided by someone with parental responsibility. Once an individual turns 18, they have full responsibility to give consent for themselves. Number 5, consider safety and well-being. Base your information sharing decisions on considerations of the safety and well-being of the person and others who may be affected by their actions. Number 6, necessary, proportionate, relevant, accurate, timely and secure. Ensure that the information you share is necessary for the purpose for which you're sharing it. Ensure it's shared only with those that need to have it. Ensure it's accurate and up to date and shared in a timely fashion and shared accurately. Number 7, keep a record of your decision and the reason for it, whether it's to share the information or not. If you decide to share, then record what you have shared, with whom and for what purpose. When supporting someone at risk, approach conversations with sensitivity. Build trust, be transparent, explore concerns, and use gentle persuasion where appropriate. Involve advocates if needed. But remember, insisting on consent can sometimes increase risk. The law allows sharing without consent when necessary to prevent harm, protect others, or fulfill legal obligations. If you share without consent, always record what was shared and why. Remember that consent is not always needed when a person is at risk of serious harm or abuse, or there's public interest in sharing the information, or the person lacks the mental capacity to make the decision, or a crime has been or may be committed, or legal or statutory duties require the information sharing. You are not expected to make these decisions alone. Know your organisational contacts for safeguarding and information sharing advice. The SSAB escalation policy is available and it is okay to escalate concerns. Safeguarding and well-being are interconnected within families. Professionals should consider the needs, risks, strengths of all family members and share relevant information with appropriate services. You are not just responsible for sharing information about the person with whom you are assigned to work. The Child Safeguarding Practice Review for Yvonne shows the importance of sharing information in a think family way, so that risks to both children and adults are understood. Next time you work with a family, remember, think child, think adult, think family. Use the balance scale to weigh the risks. What's the risk if I share? What's the risk if I don't share? If there is a risk of harm, the scale often tips towards sharing information lawfully and proportionately. It's also important to understand how and with whom information is shared. A GP once shared concerns expecting a light touch response, but a much stronger intervention followed because they didn't fully understand the thresholds. So, understand roles and responsibilities. Be clear about your intentions. Consider the impact of sharing the information on the person, but this is not a reason not to share information. Safeguarding adults cannot be achieved in isolation. Agencies must share information, assess risks jointly, and coordinate support. This is a legal duty under the Care Act 2014. Each agency holds a piece of the wider picture. When we work together, we uncover risks and make safer, more informed decisions. You can use the QR codes below to access our useful resources. Alternatively, you can find the links on the YouTube page for this video. Information sharing is fundamental to safeguarding. We have a clear legal framework, practical tools, and shared professional responsibilities to support safe, proportionate, timely sharing. By understanding risk, applying the 7 golden rules, working with families, and collaborating across agencies, we can make sure that we do not miss opportunities to safeguard individuals. Thank you for taking the time to build your confidence and skills in this crucial area.